Good morning. You know, I always love when I hear from y'all. Well, I got a note in the mail from Peter Mahigan. Do you think that?
It almost looks like Michigan, but there's extras.
It does. It looks like Michigan, except it's Mahigian. Sorry, Peter, if I mutilated your last name. But listen to this. He said, met you, Paula, 14 years ago on a Paula Deen cruise. So after 14 years, I'm still in his memory bank. So thank you, Peter, for that. So he sent me a recipe, and he said this is his Nana's recipe that comes over from Ireland. So took him 14 years to get it to me, but I finally got it, Peter, and thank you so much. And this is a very, 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 very simple dish. In fact, if it called for melted butter, I wouldn't even have to pull out my little hand mixer. But since it does not call for melted butter, I'm gonna mix it up with my little hand mixer. And y'all know I'm gonna get all the good off this paper. Look at that, almost a teaspoon. All right. So we've got half a cup of butter, and I'm just gonna give that a few twirls. Okay, and then we've got 3/4 of a cup of molasses. So that sounds like an Irish recipe, doesn't it, Teresa?
It does.
Calling for molasses.
And it's actually a cup of molasses.
Oh, it was a cup? I thought
Yes,
it looked
ma'am.
like 3/4. Thank you, thank you. Molasses is very, very strong. I think it's even stronger than our cane syrup, you know? Okay.
It tastes so good.
Yes. I'm going to add a half a cup of sugar, and I'm going to add 1 egg. So we're going to mix this up. Looks like motor oil, doesn't it, Therese?
Very good motor oil.
Yes. Okay, so I want to stop and go around my bowl. My little rubber spatula.
That smells
Okay.
so good.
So he just says stir. Stir everything in. So we've got 2 cups of all-purpose flour, half a teaspoon of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of soda, half a teaspoon of ginger, and a 1/4 of a teaspoon of ground cloves. Okey-doke. So I don't know if we can retire that yet or not. Because right now it looks thick, but this is going to be a real thin batter. And we have to add 1 cup of hot, and he specified in capital letters the hot. So this is very similar to one of our dump cakes, isn't it?
It is.
And this water gets pretty hot in my sink. Teresa had a cup poured up, but it cooled off because we've been talking and talking. I know y'all find that hard to believe. All right, now Peter said to, that kind of got out of hand for a minute. So Peter said to just stir in your very hot water. So I'm gonna mix this up, and then from here on out, we're just gonna stir. Maybe. It depends on how it looks, y'all. Okay. You know what? This reminds me of gingerbread.
I was thinking the same thing,
Smells like gingerbread.
but I think when you, I guess when you add the water, it's what makes
Yeah.
it cakey.
Yeah. And just the one egg. Okay. He doesn't say whether to stir it fast or slow or all at once or anything, so I'm gonna go a little slower. And he did not say, y'all, anything about an icing on this, but he calls it a cake. Okay. I think I am gonna turn on my mixer. One more time. Yeah, because I want to make sure it's all incorporated very, very well. And you can see the batter is very, very thin. You know, Teresa, I almost think maybe cinnamon glaze on it.
Ooh.
You know, maybe kind of like a cinnamon roll,
Yum.
that sort of thing. So,
Well, you know, we always
There
have
we go.
confectioner's sugar
I know.
on hand.
There's a few things we don't run out of.
At all.
Butter, mayonnaise, confectioner's sugar, white sugar, and flour.
You usually have sour cream.
Oh, always got sour cream too. All right, now Peter tells us to bake this in a glass.
Now he tells us a 9 by 9, but
9
you
by
know,
9. This is an 8 by 8,
and
right?
that's because we struggle with the fact that we haven't.
It's
got
in
a 9 by 9.
storage. Our 9
Exactly.
by 9 is in storage. All right, so it'll take a little bit longer probably than what Peter has recommended cooking.
It's going to be thicker.
The cooking time, yeah, it's gonna be fatter. Okay, so there we go. He tells us to bake this in a preheated 350 degree oven for 35 to 40 minutes. So I'm gonna set our timer on maybe 45 minutes. Of course, you know I'll peek at it before then, but I think that's maybe what it'll take for hours. Okay, so see y'all in 45. Our little cake is ready, the recipe from Ireland. So, I did have to cook it a little longer than was recommended because our pan was smaller. But that looks delicious.
And it smells fabulous.
Smells so good. Do y'all smell it? No, you don't smell it. I know you can't. But I'm not going to try to cut it right now because it's too hot. So we'll come back in a minute after it's cooled and we'll taste it and decide what whipped cream, fresh whipped sweetened cream, or a glaze, or maybe even a frosted, or maybe just naked like the recipe was given to us. Your Nana's, what you call it, molasses cake. I keep wanting to call it a gingerbread cake. It's cooled off enough so Teresa and I, sorry about you not being here, Eddie, but we'll save you a piece. So Teresa, ooh, gosh, that cuts good.
Look how moist it is.
Uh-huh, it is. It's so moist. Wow. So let's talk about whether we want an icing for this. Oh my gosh.
That's always a good sign.
Here's your fork, girl. Fork it. It is so moist. Look how moist. I don't know.
I'm just going to dig in with the fingers.
I got a great big mouthful.
Oh my God.
I know.
Those are great flavors together.
Uh-huh.
See, I think you could put whipped cream on it and be fine. I don't.
That's what I think too.
I don't think
Just
you
a
would want to put
dollop of a frozen whipped topping, but I would use a fresh sweetened whipped cream on top.
only because anything else might take away from the
That's what I'm thinking.
flavors.
That's what I'm thinking.
That is the bomb.
It is.
I'll be making that and taking that to friends.
Peter, pumpkin eater. You made me a molasses eater. I'm a poet and don't know it, y'all. Delicious, Peter. I hope you have many fond memories of your Nana. And thank you so much for choosing to share it with me, darling. Thank you. Love and best dishes. Hey y'all, it's Paula Deen. Now, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it and click the subscribe button as well as the notification bell to be alerted when I post a video. Love and best dishes, y'all.